Welcome to Anxious While Black, a podcast that explores the intersection of wellness, being Black in America, LGBTQ plus experiences, and just the ghetto-ness of young adulthood. Hi, I'm Emperor.
And I'm Tevin, and thank you for joining us on our third episode. Today we have another special guest. Say hello to Bree.
Hey,
Hey, Bree.
Hey.
Bree, where are you joining us from?
I'm joining y'all all the way from Henderson, Nevada.
Oh.
I thought you joined us from North Dakota. We said Nevada.
Don't play, okay?
Well, we're very excited to have you as our second guest. Well, technically, like third guest on our third episode today.
Period. You know, I'm happy just to be here.
Absolutely. So one thing we always do to kick off everything, we do an icebreaker to get to know our guests and ourselves more. So Tevin, shoot us the icebreaker for today.
Okay, so one question. If you were stuck on a deserted island, what 3 things would you need?
Oh, Lord. I'm going first.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Y'all play. Okay, so 3 things. Number 1, I'm gonna need to bring Roscoe, which is my dog. Y'all know how much I love Roscoe, so him and we're gonna have to be one. And then we need unlimited food for the both of us. So, because we need to live. And I know I'm not going to be able to find food on this island. So, unlimited food. And then we need shelter. So, I'm also going to see if I can have a tent or, if the genie comes down and it's like 3 wishes, this is what you need. I'm going to need some shelter because your girl can't live like that.
So one of your things going to be a genie to give you more wishes?
Period. I like that.
I'm here for that one.
Minus the shelter. We're going to say no to the shelter. We're going to ask for a genie with unlimited wishes.
I'll give you a pass, though, because I said 3 things, not 3 beings. So, but we'll give you a pass.
Okay. See, I didn't know this was going to be a word problem, but
Right, he be all specific and stuff. Like, come on now. He said 3 things.
My 3 things are lemon water for the skin and so that I'm flushing out my body
of
all
course.
the toxins. An iced latte.
What?
And also sunscreen.
And sunscreen?
Yeah.
How you gonna eat?
I need to be beach body ready all time.
So,
I'm like on the beach.
Oh my God. It sounds like you on this island by yourself with your water. Lemon water. Like in the sunscreen. I'm screaming.
There's lemons in the water, so that's food.
Oh my gosh.
You're hungry.
My 3 things are I'm gonna need my hair products, my skincare products, my clothes, my cell phone, Wi-Fi, invite some people over.
No.
What?
You said skincare products. That automatically eliminated the other 2 things you could bring.
You know what? I don't like the rules.
Let me be more specific. I'm gonna get a net to cast so I can catch some fish since we're on an island because I like it's really really good.
Sure
that's one thing. I can't have shellfish because I'll be messed up. Second thing, I will get. I need Wi-Fi, so I'm gonna have to have Wi-Fi on the island. So I can sit there and I'm going to have a DJ. So I got somebody play music all day, have a good time, dance the night away. So I'm going to eat my fish, dance, and be on my cell phone and watch TV. Those are my 3 things.
Okay. Well, I guess I have to give you a pass.
What are we getting passes for?
I know, like,
you can't have a
not you just giving. We can't have nothing. We just have to have some type of pass. We need more passes. That's why I had to ask for the genie.
You're out of passes because you both used them up. So let's move on to the next day.
Oh my God.
What's making everyone anxious for the day?
Oh.
You're not giving us more options, nah.
Right. Us not getting more passes.
Wow.
I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. Like, full disclosure, the podcast was low-key making me anxious. But of course, like, we are here because y'all know I was running around all day yesterday trying to get my little corner together.
What's making me anxious? this weather that we're having in New York City. I think I've been spoiled that the last 2 years it hasn't really been that cold, and I just been kind of coasting. We have like a 30-degree weather. No, it's been 16, 20, plus wind chill, minus Celsius, add degrees. It's just too much going on. Like, it is cold. It is not good for my skin. I am a dark skin, brown skin, proud to be dark skin, brown skin man. And ashy just don't look good on us. Like, it just doesn't look good on me. So I do not need this cold air drying out my skin and making me look older. Absolutely not. That's what's making me anxious. This cold weather. Spring, where are you?
No, well, mine, it's been something that I've been struggling with for quite a few months.
Well, giving us more choices?
No, it's even deeper than that. It's deeper than that.
What's up?
So you know how, like, I've been going to Whole Foods and there's no oat milk yogurt anywhere.
Oh my gosh.
So that's been my point of contention for like more than just this week, but quite some time.
So because there's no more Oatly yogurt at Whole Foods.
Well, it's nowhere to be found.
It's nowhere to be found. Not even on like the internet. You try to like Googling it, going to Whole Foods
there's
market.
No other options.
I even tried to go look in Key Foods, and it wasn't.
Sorry.
It wasn't anywhere there.
I'm sorry I had to go to Key Foods.
First world problems here, but that's
so basically, Whole Foods, if you're listening, we need you to bring that back.
Oatly, where's the yogurt?
Right, Oatly, Whole Foods. I need y'all to do y'all big one.
I went to Wegmans and I tried Nancy's yogurt, Nancy's oat milk yogurt. That stuff was nasty.
Wait, actually, I'm jumping in with you because I'm upset. I have another thing I want to talk about that making me anxious since you talk about the Oatly. Snacklings, where are you? I've been looking for these chips forever. Everyone knows they used to call me chips at work. I used to eat them every single day.
They called you
300,
chips.
Yeah, they did. They called me chips. 320 calories a bag. I was eating 2-3 bags, kept the stomach flat. Where are you? It's nowhere to be found. Then they sell them on Amazon for like $50. Absolutely not. Where are you?
Not
it's a mess. I'm scratching like this, looking for it. Like, it's a lot going on. Like, where are they? Yes, it's a great snack. I'm gonna send you some when they finally have them.
Yeah, and they're not $50 a box.
Yeah, not $50 a box. Absolutely not. No.
Well, yeah, I'm glad I got that off my chest.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
You look more relieved.
I am. I look younger and everything. I'm glad I got that off my chest. So let's get into the topic of the day.
Yes, let's get into the topic.
Do it.
All right, so Emperor, you have the definition.
Last time, y'all, Miriam didn't hook us up, but today she gave us a definition, so everybody's going to read it. So we're going to talk about imposter syndrome. I know this is a little deep, y'all, so sit down, get your coffee, your tea, or your wine, and let's get into it. So imposter syndrome, a psychological condition that is characterized by persistent doubt concerning one's abilities or accomplishments, accompanied by the fear of being exposed as a fraud despite evidence of one's ongoing success. That's a lot to take in.
Yeah, it's very deep.
Yes, it is.
And I think it's something like us as like young Black professionals, a lot of us deal with.
Absolutely.
I actually have some facts about imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is closely related to perfectionism, which makes sense.
Right.
Around 25 to 30% of high achievers suffer from imposter syndrome. And around 70% of adults may experience it at least once in their lifetime.
Does anyone feel like they suffer from imposter syndrome?
I feel like now that, like, as I'm getting older and like speaking with my therapist and everything, I definitely feel like that's something that I suffer from.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel like, is this something that, not get into your business, obviously, because therapy is very private, but do you feel like there was like anything that, I guess you sharing your life experiences is why you kind of figured it out? Did she said it was imposter syndrome, or based off of your conversation is something that you came to your own conclusion on?
I guess just like talking with her and then just reading more about it. Like, I'm a perfectionist at heart. So I always beat myself up when like I don't accomplish certain things, or something doesn't look a certain way. I'm like, we wanted to start this podcast for years, and it took forever
Years.
for it to start. But we're finally here, and that's something like imposter syndrome. Like I find that it slows me down sometimes from actually getting stuff off the ground. So that's something that I've been like struggling with. Bree, how do you feel like you suffer from it?
I do. I would say for me, I think it is almost, I guess, cyclical. I think for me, I really struggle with it the most as I go into new parts of my life, whether it's professional or personal. I think for me, I really struggle with it the most professionally, especially when it comes time for like, promotions, or you see new job opportunities or just projects coming up, and being in a certain place where you feel like, do I belong in the room? How did I get to this point of even being in this room? I know how I got in the room. I did work very hard. I went to school. You know, met folks, got to know people, but at the same time, like, there's always that little part in the back of my brain where I'm like, ooh, did I get here by chance? Was this just luck of the draw? Like, but I think for myself, I have to, it's like bringing yourself back to reality. And I think I do that, and not only that, but my friends and my family help me get back to that place of saying like, no, girl, you work hard. Like, you got that degree. You know everything. You
It's
work
that
hard
part.
for real. Like, you worked hard, you have the experience, that's transferable if you want to jump into a different, sector of the business or whatever it is, like, you can do it. And I think that is what has helped me through it a lot. But most certainly, I definitely, go through that. And I think the first time I really truly went through it, and at the time, I didn't know the name of it, was when I was
Right.
in undergrad.
Mm.
For me, like, I'm a first gen college student. And
Congratulations on that too.
thank you. First gen
That's
stand
right.
up. And I remember just being dropped off at school, right? And like my whole family was there. Everybody's crying. We're all crying because it was just such a huge accomplishment. Um, and not really knowing that at the time, everything that I was brought up with, raised around, friends that I had, experiences that I went through in my personal life, not realizing that everybody else doesn't go through the same thing, right?
Right.
And everybody that's, in at that university or within that residence hall or apartment communities that I lived in, we all had different experiences that made us who we are. And I feel like once I started to get to know people and they're telling me how they grew up and like, different privileges that they had, I was like, oh, you live like that? Oh, you riding around in Beamer, Benz, and Bentley? Oh, okay. Oh, you got money. You ordered a large. And not to say that, yes, at some points in time we did have humble beginnings, but I think one of the things that, big ups to my mom, because I know she'll be listening. She did subscribe to the podcast. Period. Um, so yes, so I definitely, want to give her flowers, because during that time period and us growing up, I never felt like I never like I didn't have enough. If that
Right.
if that makes sense. My mother never
Mhm.
she made sure that, when we came home, we had a roof over our head, shelter, all of those things. So it wasn't until, I got out of that element, my safety net, the place where I felt safe and secure. And now I'm out here on my own, just trying to figure it out. And I'm like, oh, y'all, oh, y'all always had these things. Oh, okay, that's nice.
Right.
Because I have to work. I have to work hard. Matter of fact, I gotta work twice as hard. You know what I mean? Like things, didn't always come easy for me. So I knew that, I had to work hard. I had to put in, like they say, you gotta work twice as hard just to be good as the person who just shows up to the door.
Like I've known you for what, since 2008, 9?
Yeah.
That's 1,000 years, y'all.
1,000 years.
It is.
I can say you work
Ooh.
hard for everything you have, so
Mm-hmm.
definitely you belong in any room that you step into.
That part. And I love that one
Thank
thing that you touched upon was that you said your family helped you get out of that mindset and overcome imposter syndrome, which is really great that you had such a great support system. Again, shout out to mom,
Yes.
who's been there and just make sure like, all right, just to remind you like, hey, is not where you start. Actually, it is where you start because you started somewhere you fought for, you had to get for. You wasn't given anything, right? You worked hard for what you got. You have a master's. Yeah, shout out your master's degree because you have one, baby. You have your master's degree.
I do.
And you're doing your thing. You took a chance and look where you are now. So I love that your family definitely, helped you get out of that imposter syndrome because there's some people who live in it every single day. And their family actually is the reason why they're actually in it. So shout out to you.
Well, Emperor, do you feel like you suffer from it?
I have to say I did. Especially as a child. I was, I grew up in the Bronx. Again, I'm gonna keep shouting y'all out because that's where I grew up at. So, a lot of kids weren't really like, doing well in school or wasn't really pushed. In my household, it was school, 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 straight A's. That's what you had to do. So it got to the point where like, if I didn't get 100 on the test, I was like crying, it was a big thing. And I feel like, more for me was like being on the principal's list was like, having like really high grades on being top like 5 in the whole entire school. I still always felt like I wasn't enough sometimes just because people around me made me feel like I wasn't. Tevin, do you mind sharing any of like your experiences with imposter syndrome?
I think one of the biggest thing was when I really started noticing it was me when I worked at a different company than I work at now. I had a boss who in the beginning she was cool, but then towards the end she kind of tried to make me feel like I wasn't doing enough. So like she even tried to tell me, oh, like you're not living up to what I thought you'd be when I hired you.
She told you that?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And so that's when I like really even started like noticing my anxiety getting up because I had a job before that where I was like praised for almost everything I did. So I kind of questioned whether or not I was I just got lucky at my last job and maybe I was like I was like a level up from being there, but not quite at the level of where I should have been at this other company I was working at. So I just think like after talking to my therapist, like I realized that lady was trying to pass her anxieties on to me. And that I was more than enough. And I'm at a company now where I'm appreciated for the work that I put in and I'm getting like recognition and praise for things that I do, similar to like my first job. So it was just at that point where I realized, oh, okay, this is like what imposter syndrome can feel like when you're like in an environment that isn't necessarily supportive, or you feel like, especially like I probably was like one of a handful of Black people on a team of like 30 to 40 people. And just you're already in those type of when you're in those environments and you're the only spec. You often yes, a speck.
a speck of light.
Yeah, speck of light, speck of love, speck of creativity, genius, but whatever you want to call it. When you're in those environments, it's kind of hard for you to like not feel like you're out of place.
Right.
Because you can relate to people to a certain extent. But there are certain like life experiences or like even the way things are presented to you or the way some people speak to you, that not necessarily these other people who don't have the same cultural similarities as you will be able to like relate with you on.
No, wow. I'm glad you shared that. That's a lot. And I'm sad. We're not sad. It's a little disheartening to hear that someone tried to pass her own anxiety on to you because she was insecure with herself and she thought the best thing to do was pass it on to you to make you feel a certain type of way. Again, you did share that you're in like a great environment now, which that's amazing. Do you still kind of feel anything that she did to you in the past, or kind of just went away when you switched to a new job?
I think initially, like when I first got into this job, I still had I called it PTSD. I still had the PTSD from that previous job. But I think I've been there. Sometimes it tries to flare up. I'm like, not today, Satan, leave me alone, bring Jesus. But
I know that's
I think now I'm at a place, I've been there long enough to where I'm just like, okay, I'm in a good spot. Like, no one's going to be perfect. We're all going to make mistakes. And so I think as a perfectionist, I also realize that we're all going to make mistakes. Nothing's going to be perfect. So I think realizing that has helped me to fight imposterism.
I'm glad you shared this because you sharing it made me think about my own like job journeys that I've had. And I've been managing, I said last time, for a long time. And there are times where I will look around and I would like, do I belong here? Like, yes, the staff love me, but I will always get like, it's criticism. Oh, like you're too close with the staff. And I'm like, is that a thing? Like, should I be nasty to them? Should I be rude to them? Like, what are you talking about? And they're like, yeah, you're just too friendly. I'm like, but they're productive. They're coming to work. It's really like everything is great. Attrition is down, like what you're talking about. And it always made me feel away as if, I wasn't doing my job, or I worked extra hours. I worked during the summertime. I took the shifts no one would take. And it was just never good enough. Like, I didn't get promoted. Other people would get promoted. So you start thinking like, oh, am I doing something wrong? Am I in the wrong space? You switch to a different job, same thing. Switch to a different job, same thing. And you start to doubt yourself, like, am I the one? Is it me? Like, you start thinking it's you. I was at a job, I'm not going to say where, but I had a job where one day I was like, it's not me. Because they started telling me to change the way I speak, to sit down when I'm talking to people, because I'm a 6'3" tall, black, secure man. And they told me to sit on the floor while I spoke to people to be less intimidating. Or because I don't speak yo, 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 what's up, that I wasn't being my authentic self, which is racist, by the way. Or they'll tell me that my ideas were wrong. And then 2-3 months later, they implemented it inside of the business.
Of course they did.
Or I broke 3 records in a company, and yet I was still in the same exact position. And there are people who only been managing for a year who are technically now my boss. So yeah, it took me to really like prayer works. Pray and keep, friends like you and you, Brie, as well, around, just to kind of remind me like, no, it's not you. Like, look, you have things that show and like the impact you had on these places, or you have like tangible thing that goes, listen, you broke a record. You can't make that up. No, you broke 3 records. This is what you did. You was praised for it, but yet you're not being recognized for it. Or when you leave somewhere, your staff follows you and goes to the same place that you left. That's showing like you're doing something right. But, I guess when you're great at something, people, I don't know if it's jealousy, but being beat over the head time and time again, saying that you're not this or you can't be. I told you before, I was told that I wasn't a strong black leader from a black leader.
Disgusting.
That is really gross.
Yeah.
People make me sick.
Did. That's exactly what he told me. You are. He goes, you think you're a strong black leader? You're not a strong black leader.
And neither was he. Neither was he.
But in the same interim, you also tell me that we need leaders that are just like me. So it doesn't make any sense. Again, like you said earlier, when you see people projecting their insecurities onto you or their own things, you go, you know what? This got nothing to do with me. I'm gonna live my best life. I'm gonna keep doing what I do. I'm gonna stay true to my faith. I'm gonna keep on praying and being the best representation of myself. But imposter syndrome can start just with self-doubt or people putting that on you and kind of trying to put you down. So I guess with Brie, like you said earlier, it was new things. There's people around who got all this money and they got, Nepo babies and people getting places because they got the money, right? Mine was the other way around. I worked hard just like you did to get in certain places, but people who were there was just trying to tear me down because they're mad that we was in the same space. So yeah, that's my experience with that.
Right. And I think one of the things that I'm hearing from both of you in the conversations is that there are people out there that are not very secure within themselves.
Mhm.
And then they take those insecurities and they're putting that on you in turn to make you feel like your light has to be dim in order for them to shine.
Right.
Like this lady that I was talking about, she, like, literally, we'd be on every like Teams call we were on. She started off by giving a digest of what she's going through, like what she's stressed out about that day, all this work she has to do. One time she broke down crying in literal tears
Crying
on a call.
No, she didn't.
On a call when we're trying to get something out that's immediate, and she's on there boo-hoo crying, and then had the nerve to try to sit here and come to me and tell me I'm not doing enough.
She was doing too much. That's what it was.
And was mad unprofessional. Like, ma'am, I don't need to know why your kids don't like you this week. That don't got nothing to do with me.
Got nothing to do with me.
And she even be like, oh, I haven't talked to my therapist in like 3 months. Well, maybe you should go talk to them.
First of all, why is she even telling you this in the first place? Why is she telling you about her therapy session and then she go sit there and say you're not doing enough? She ain't doing enough.
Her therapist would say that.
There's a difference between a supervisor being personable and getting to know you and creating that rapport with you versus like you haven't done the rapport building. You talk to us crazy and then you want to turn around and now you want to tell me about your therapy sessions or the lack thereof. Like, no.
Right.
What do you think this is?
Absolutely
not. For real. For real.
Studies actually show that men and women both suffer from imposter syndrome, but specifically people of color. And within that, specifically, women suffer from it more than men.
Of course we do. As Black people, we always start off with the struggle. Like, it's always a struggle. It's like you have to work hard. My mom didn't have too much or my dad didn't have too much. Even those who had, some people grew up in good and, having enough or having a lot. But when they got around people who didn't look like them, that here it goes. Like, there's a syndrome. It's only one of 1,000 or 3 of 1,000. You go to a good school, like you both went to great schools. I'm pretty sure you didn't see a lot of people who looked like you. Or as you move up in your reigns at work, the higher you move up, you don't see people who look like us. So yes, it is, especially Black women, they go through, I mean, you could attest to it as a beautiful Black woman, that you probably don't see a lot of other Black women holding on to certain positions no matter where you go. And it's every time you see on, social media or TV, the first Black woman to do this, the first Black man to do, I'm like, wait a second. That shouldn't be the norm. It should be this Black man, this Black woman did it, not the first. Why is still being the first for us to do things? We've been overqualified for the positions for decades.
Now, why can't I be the 100th Black person to do it?
I would love to be the 100th Black person to do something.
Right. No, definitely. And I think the hard part too, like, I think women and just Black women, period. I feel like we suffer with that a lot because we're in a society now where, you have to dress a certain way. You have to look a certain way. They want you to keep your hair a certain way. You have to show up and present yourself in a certain way. And then it's unfortunate because other people, some culture vultures, as you will show up and do the same thing, not as good. And they are receiving so much recognition for things that we've done for years, right?
Oh, yeah.
Things that we have possessed, how we how we dress ourselves, how we present ourselves, how, you know, the lipstick, the hair, you know, our facial features. People are paying for those things, you know what I mean? And I feel like nowadays, like, it's just so different. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's also a part of it, that imposter syndrome too, because you're seeing, like, you're talking about how I'm presenting myself as a person, but then I look back and somebody else is doing the same thing and they're receiving all the praise, and you're telling me, no, sis, you need to cover up. And I think the one of the craziest experiences I feel like we see the most now, and you see it with kids, is like with dress code. I feel like, look, stay with me now. So with dress code, they'll tell you, oh, you gotta make sure you do the chicken dance. Uh your shirt can't be below where your fingertips are. You gotta put your hands to your side, and your skirt can't, you know, by the longest fingertip or whatever. That's where your skirt should be. But it's like, old girl over there is doing it. She may not have as many curves as me, but her shirt is deeper than mine. You haven't said nothing to her.
Like, she
You
pretty
know?
much got on thread. And
Right.
I have to have on a whole curtain to wrap everything up 3 times.
Right.
No, I could definitely relate to the whole, like, them wanting us to, like, look different, even down to me and my hair, right? I was told at one point, again, by a black man, I don't know why I keep being on people, that I had hair before, that if I cut my hair, I'd be able to get into a corporate setting. And I was like,
Where's he at now?
we don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if he still has an apartment. But as he was telling me this, I had, like, my hair, like, twisted like I have now. I seen one of the neighbors come in and they had locks. And I'm like, wait a second. So this white man can rock.
I was going to think you need to define what a neighbor is.
A neighbor is someone who was Caucasian. They came in with locks. Now the locks was laid. It looked good. It looked good. Locks were good.
I did not know. I did not know that.
All over.
Oh my God. Y'all never told me that. Okay, I'm gonna have to start using that. Okay.
And the black people are the cousin.
Yeah, black
Okay,
people are cousins
period.
and white people are neighbors. And again, she is screaming. His locks look nice. But I was like, wait a second, how can he walk in here with locks and I have to cut my hair, and this is how my hair naturally looks. So I ended up cutting it because I wanted the job, and I didn't hear anything. And I was like, what is going on? And he ended up telling me later on that he was very jealous because I was living my truth the way I was. Like, I had the hair. I didn't care what nobody thought. Never had a perm. Always just rocked it out. And he was like, he can't do that in his setting. So he wanted me to cut my hair because he felt insecure.
He told you that?
He did. He even did a whole thing at his new job and did a presentation on how he kind of screwed me over and used me as a reference. As old got fired because karma. Yeah.
People
Listen,
are so gross.
watching this because Emperor's been through a lot of stuff, y'all. I'm gonna let y'all know what my life was like. But
all my life I had to fight.
All my life, and I'm still swinging. And I'm still swinging. But yeah, even down, you talk about imposter syndrome. You know, look, let's go take it even further. Where, you know, even to this day, a lot of our people are afraid to show how they really look outside of wigs and weaves. A lot of people, from celebrities to, again, I'm all about rocking wigs and weaves and all type of extension.
Mm-hmm.
You wear it because you want to wear it. But if you're putting it on your head to hide who you actually are,
you really are an imposter.
You're already an imposter, literally. And, you know, it started with, you know, people not, you know, I have to look a certain type of way, or if they see me without all of this, then I'm going to feel like I don't belong. So I have to keep my hair straight and get the heat damage, or rock the Eurocentric wigs or, talk a certain type of way or present myself a certain type of way just so I can fit in. Because if I don't do this, they're going to see right through me, not knowing that you're where you are because you had to work 50 times harder because you're smarter than everybody in that room with or without the wig, that you probably sat there in school, got straight A's from a accredited college while someone's in there because their friend got them the job. No, like you're in there because you deserve to be in there.
And I do want to say that for those of you who might be watching, I do have on bundles, but I do love my crown. This is just for protective styling.
Absolutely.
Don't ever get it twisted. I love my fro.
Don't come for me.
Okay.
Right. And again, like I said, we love the wigs and weaves, especially
Okay, we do.
the style. We love it. It's a good switch up. Especially if
Yes.
you want to see something else. This is a great switch up.
Okay.
But can you take everything off and go, I love myself without all of
Mm-hmm.
these things?
Love
and I feel
yourself.
like
If you haven't listened, listen to episode 1.
episode 1 talk about loving yourself again. And a lot of that's how I feel like imposter syndrome comes about, because you're doubting yourself, knowing that you've done all these things, whether it's stuff that's tangible or not. Even if you don't have a degree, like I don't have one, but Emperor's smart as heck. But my thing is, you have to say, look where I am, or look where I live, or look at the friends I have, or look at the career I have, or look at the relationships I have, and you're still doubting that you don't deserve it. That's some self-love stuff. Something isn't there. Whether it started from childhood, whether society told you these things, is something that we need to work on, because we deserve to be in a room, and we also deserve to create our own rooms too. But we'll say that for another podcast.
I know when we were putting this episode together and you and I were discussing it and I was talking about it, you said, I didn't know you were dealing with that.
Yeah, I had no idea.
And then when we were talking with Brie about it, she said she discussed with her mother, and her mother had no idea that she was dealing with that. So Brie, have you talked about dealing with imposter syndrome, or possibly dealing with imposter syndrome with anyone else?
Yes, I have. I've talked about it with my friends, of course, some coworkers and mentors that I have, that I go through this. And like I said, for me, it's specifically in, my work environment. I talk to, I guess you could say my mentor slash, what's the new thing that they call it now? Lord, this might have to be a pause moment.
One eternity later.
Oh, your sponsor.
Okay.
I know, not like sponsor. I got myself a sponsor, not like Tierra Marie. Not that, but like in the workplace now, the new thing is you want to ask folks to be your sponsor, who will basically put your name in rooms that you may not be in. It's a little bit elevated above the mentorship. So like my sponsor and one of my old, my boss, aka Mo Money Dollars, Moses.
More money dollars.
But I know he's the person that I talked to about this. And like, as I moved up in my career in the previous company that I worked for, that was always something that, I would always say to him, like, I don't know if I'm ready. Like, do you think I'm ready for this position? Or even I would tell my mom that, like, I don't know if I'm ready, or I can't see myself in this space. And they'd be like, well, I can see you there. You know what I mean? Like my mom would be like, oh, I don't know why do you think that? Like that would always be like an open-ended question, right? Same thing when I'm talking to y'all, like, I don't see myself here, or I wasn't really thinking about that. And like deep down inside, like I am thinking about it, but I've always looked at where other people are and how they show themselves in those positions. And I'm like, well, I see how they do it. I don't know if I can do that because of how they're doing the job.
Right.
And I had to realize, and I'm still realizing it, child, because I'm a little hard-headed, just a little bit. And one of the things that I realized was that, how that person is doing that role does not mean that I have to emulate and do everything their way, because I got here by doing things the Brie way. Just like y'all got to where you all are by being Emperor and being Tevin. You know what I mean? So I have to, that's something that I still continuously have to check about myself, is that I got here walking in my own shoes. And yes, there are certain things that you can learn from folks and add it to, you know, your professional repertoire. But at the end of the day, like, I have to do things in Bree's way. And I have to do it when I feel ready and not when other people want me to be ready.
I don't necessarily know if I've like talked about it with other people. But I may have like said things here and there, but not necessarily talked about like, oh, I'm suffering from imposter syndrome. And, you know, like sometimes I talk about stuff with you, or you like, you should do this. I'm like, I don't know if I'm like a good fit for that. Or me being a perfectionist. Because I'm just like, sometimes I'm like, I need to have all of the pieces together. Instead of just looking at myself and like, you could do this, you're more than enough. Like, you got to do the best with what you got. And just push on, and you're going to learn as you go along, and you're not going to be this genius or this expert at something right away, but things come with practice and time. You know what that sound means?
Absolutely.
It's time for Emperor's Rant.
Yes, let's go. Yes.
So every episode, Emperor has time to get things off his chest.
Time. You sure I have time?
He's limited to 2 minutes.
Guys, listen. Y'all told me I've gotten so much reach out. The limit is ridiculous.
2 minutes.
I didn't rant about this because this is ridiculous.
Well, as long as you're not going over 2 minutes, you can. So I have my trusty timer back this week.
Yeah, it was on vacation. Back now.
So
not the trusty timer.
We're going to get it started, and your 2 minutes starts now.
All right, y'all. So my rant of the week is people being obsessed with celebrities, especially on social media. It is absolutely crazy and insane to me. Like, I see people underneath comments, oh my gosh, Rihanna, I love you so much. Or, oh my gosh, Drake. I'm like, they're not going to respond to y'all. Like, no one is looking at y'all. I think it's crazy how I see people go on there and go, oh, happy birthday, and make a whole post. I'm like, why are there more posts about your celebrity than your own family? Why are you worshiping? Again, there are people, and I get it. Listen, I have celebrities who I like. There's musicians who I think are cool, basketball players who I think are super talented, but I'm not going to sit there and do a whole mirage to them in the back of my closet talking about, oh, hell you. Absolutely not. That is crazy, and that is insane, and I don't know what it is. When I call it out, it goes, you're just hating. I'm not hating. Like, people, even with fan pages, right? I don't get it. How do you have pictures of the celebrity before they have a picture of themselves? Like, what is up with that? That is absolutely insane and crazy to me. Like, it's given stalkerish, and I think it's really, really sad. While you're watching them succeed and be great, you're sitting there doing nothing. Like, I think it's really, really crazy. You need to go pray, and you go figure that stuff out, because there's no reason why. What?
Pray.
Oh, you pray. He said pray. No, my time I got left. But yeah, no, seriously, like, it's really, really sad. Like, I'm so tired of going on people's timelines. I'm like, well, I don't have a father celebrity. I keep seeing them. Oh, great shot. Or, oh, great new fragrance. Or, oh, great new skincare. Emperor does not care, and I do not want to see it.
Time's up.
You owe me like 10 seconds for jumping in.
Okay, you got distracted, but you're 5 seconds.
Y'all crazy, and I'm good.
Okay.
I loved it.
So moving on.
Okay.
We're gonna have a little Am I the A-hole moment again?
Oh, we glad I brought it back. People have been asking about Am I the A-hole? And people want to know what's going on. So Tevin, can you read it for us?
Yeah. So this week, someone went on Reddit and they asked, are they the a-hole for wanting to keep their relationship private on social media? So let me read it. I, 27 male, am seeking some advice on a situation that's been causing tension between me and my partner, and I'm wondering if I'm handling it correctly. Recently, my partner, 26 female, expressed a desire for us to be more active and visible as a couple on social media. She's been posting pictures of us together and tagging me in her posts, but I've been more reserved about sharing the details of our relationship online. While I care deeply for my partner and value our relationship, I'm uncomfortable with the idea of broadcasting our personal lives on social media. I prefer to keep certain aspects of my life private and don't feel the need to constantly share updates with others. When I explained my feeling to my partner and expressed my hesitation about being more public on social media, she seemed disappointed and even a bit hurt. She argued that sharing our relationship online is a way to show our love and commitment to each other and to the world. Now I'm left feeling guilty and wondering if I'm being unfair to my partner by not being more open about our relationship on social media. Should I prioritize my partner's wishes over my own discomfort with sharing personal details online, or is it okay for me to stick with my boundaries?
You already know how I feel about this.
Bree, since you're the guest, tell us how you feel first.
I personally, I don't think that he's an a-hole. I feel like I don't know. I feel like we're in a day and age where we share everything. People sharing what they eat for breakfast. People sharing what kind of underwear they got on. People sharing what they do in their bedroom with their partner. Like, it's just some things I feel like we just don't need to know.
It's too much.
It's too much.
Too much.
So I rarely post, even though I'm trying to be a fake influencer. Riled up with Bree. Follow me. But I just really like, I don't know. I feel like when it comes to my relationships, like personally, like I don't believe that you should make it on the page until maybe I'm being extra, but until like we walking down the aisle. Like I don't want to post my man. And that's just me. I feel like there are some things that don't really need to be shared, and until I'm in that feeling of wanting to share. And if I do, you're getting a Wizard Kelly pick. You're never going to get this man's face. You're only going to get from the neck down. And that's it. Like, I'm not posting him because, again, at the end of the day, like, that's my business.
I agree. I'm very private with my I don't want my relationship being all online. I feel like that's just a way to invite people in, just kind of cause trouble. Be like, oh, I was with your man last night. I'm like, no, you weren't. They were right next to me. Or other lies they want to make up, or other doctored photos they might want to add. Like so many people be like, oh, here's text messages between me and him, me and her. I'm like, how do I know you just didn't put a random number in your phone and then just save that name as that number? And also, like, just stay out of my business. Like, even like me walking down my aisle, that might be the only picture you get. Because after that, we going back in the vault.
Here's my thing. I have so much to say about this. First of all, the people who are so invested in other people's business. I mean, I look at people's stuff. I'm a little nosy too, but I'm not scrolling down the lane. I'm not
leaving the comments.
I'm not commenting on. I don't care. Emperor does not care. My biggest thing was her saying she felt that's a way to express their love. That's what she said, right?
Yeah, that was a little weird. That was a side
That's a little extra. We can express our love in different type of ways. We can go out to go eat. We can go out in the house. We can build a business together. We can build a family.
We can write love notes.
We can write love notes. I don't need to put you on social. Like, why do I have to put you on social media? I got a better one. Let's say social media didn't exist. Would you still be with him? Because that doesn't make any sense. Like, why do you even care? So, oh, look, girls, I got a man, hey. And my thing is, he's not with it. Now, I'm not one to share my personal business for the work. First of all, they don't even care. Again, you open up a gate for people to start coming in between your relationship and saying things. And the biggest thing is, what happens if y'all break up? All those pictures and posts y'all had, it's 50 of them. You got to delete them all, and then start all over again, and then delete them all.
That's how everyone knows you're broken up.
I'm like, they ain't together no more. There are people who post things, but what happens if y'all don't work out, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to delete the post, delete the photos. People going to go, oh, they broke up. Then you're going to have people really investing in, oh, girl, what's going on? Mind you, I don't even know you. What's happening? Are y'all together no more?
Hey, big head.
Two reasons. A, they want to see if that person, they want to see if your boo is single now so they can jump on it. That's one part. You got to be very careful of those people who look in. And also because people are just nosy and it's disgusting. So he is not the a-hole at all. I think they need to come to some type of compromise. A picture. Mm-hmm. Wizard Kelly, or like you said, or Miss Bellum from Powerpuff Girls taking it all the way back where you don't really see her face. That's what you're going to get. Or you might get a hand. Or you might get a shoe.
Right.
Or you might just get me and my boo. That's what you're gonna get in the heart with an arrow going through it. That's what you're gonna get. I'm in a relationship, yes, and I am happy. And it's none of your business who it is unless you personally know me.
Now, the
That's
only
it.
issue she might have, like, I think the only red flag that, you might encounter is if it turns around and y'all are talking about, oh, let's like post each other. Or, oh my God, you should post this. And then if he's like, he don't never want to post, or like, you don't even get a Wizard Kelly, like you don't get nothing. That might be a little side eye. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
We'll let them figure it out, but our verdict is he's not the a-hole.
He's not. He's not.
She didn't figure out her life.
Grow up, sis. Well, that's all the time we have for today.
Already?
Follow at AWB Pod on all social media platforms. Comment, like, or subscribe. You can watch videos on Spotify or YouTube.
Subscribe.
Listen on all other platforms. Email, hey, that's HEY at anxiouswhileblack.com.
That's right.
And hit us up for more. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.